If you want to be in a new job within the next 3 to 6 months, how should you budget your time? So, obviously, job search can take shorter or longer periods of time, depending on how much time you put into it, but also depending on how quickly the hiring process is for each and every employer. So there certainly are things that are out of your control. As a general rule of thumb, the more complex, the more senior the role is, typically it takes longer. There are more decision makers involved, and that obviously slows the process. That being said, there are things that you can control. So, certainly your efforts and how you move the search along. And so, what I tell people who want to be in a new job sooner than later, I tell them to prioritize their job search as if that is their full time job. If you are in between jobs, you have the 40 hours a week to be working on your job search. And I would be budgeting as much time as you can up to that 40 hours. Obviously, if you are in another job, you have to juggle, but I would still try to budget a good 5 to 10 hours to be working on your search each and every week, because things like working on your resume, your LinkedIn, your cover letters, that needs to happen on an ongoing basis. Things like reaching out to your network, reconnecting with people, so that when you're in touch, it's not only about what can you do for me. That takes time, and that's best done over a series of weeks and not just right away. So it's helpful to look at your job search and say, okay, I do have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to work on it. Secondly, I would think about lighting that flame underneath you so that you do keep moving, that there is a sense of urgency. So I would say, don't think of yourself as having 6 months. Think of yourself as having 3 months. Think of yourself as really wanting to land within the business quarter, because businesses make decisions and change direction quarter by quarter. And so if you spend too long on your search and you're looking at maybe just one or two companies and you let a few weeks go by, another one or two companies, you're never going to really have a good sense of the full map of competitors if you're not hurrying yourself up a little bit. And then finally, I would say another rule of thumb around time management for your job search is to think about your ratio of direct outreach. So, calling people, emailing people, researching people at the companies that you want and reaching out to them cold. That's direct outreach. Look at your ratio of direct outreach to passive activities like submitting applications online and responding to job postings. Passive is you're taking what comes. You're not making something happen. And I would budget my time 80-20, where 80% of it is for direct outreach and 20% is for that more passive responding to job postings, circling back to recruiters as they call me, letting someone else, whether it's the job posting or the recruiter, lead your search. That's passive. And so if you only have 5 hours a week to work on your search, that means 4 hours of it is where you directly control the individuals that you are reaching out to. You're researching them, you are emailing them, you are calling them. And just one of those hours is spent trolling the internet, looking for job postings to apply to. If you can keep that 80-20 cadence, that's going to make sure that your search is proactive and that it moves along and you're driving it to the finish line sooner rather than later.